Hi everyone. Metal. Yes, again, Greg's Metal Guide is back. Just for a moment, and yes, later on as well. This is a bonus video because when I made my metal albums of the year 2021 a few weeks ago, I was afraid it won't be interesting to many people, and in fact I know that that's part of my audience will not watch it or is not interested in it, but I had an extraordinary feedback from many of you guys, and thank you so much about that. I really appreciated it. Also Leon, Ken's support, and a lot of metalheads. So I wanted to before doing other pure whiskey videos and rundowns, I wanted to thank you and give you a kind of bonus video. So it's not albums of the year this time, it's still metal in different subgenres. But and believe me, even with the two boxes I have here, I haven't covered everything I wanted, and I have a few others, and I have some albums also that are not easily accessible now, available. Too many stuff before it to show you, and I don't like to speak about music without showing the records, so it's difficult. Anyway, so I'm gonna speak about basically 12 or 13 albums and almost the same for the whiskies I will pair in front of them. So it's the principle I did last time, so it seems it worked. Of course, this is totally subjective. Now, in case you wonder why didn't I have last time a t-shirt, a merch t-shirt from one of my favorite bands, unfortunately the answer is simple. I have overweight problems, and most often there are no 3XL music t-shirts available, at least from the bands I'm interested in, or I'm obliged to buy them through PayPal, and I can't because I had trouble with PayPal and I don't use it anymore. In fact, it's impossible for me to use it. Even if I write to them, it doesn't work, so to complain, so forget it. So when I did found this funny Star Wars slash Darth Metal t-shirt, it was so funny, I bought it, despite it's something that's not really related to a band in particular. Voila for the short disclaimer. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dive very quickly, because there are so many other albums in those two boxes there, and in another box in which I've extracted a few albums to show you. I will try to summarize quickly the album, and then I will jump into the association, the pairing with whiskey. So let's get started now. First one is a band I liked a lot, but who did change. They started without having a female singer. Then quickly after they got a female singer in the 90s. It's a band from Netherlands, and I had the immense occasion to meet the singer. And yes, it's a live record. It's a double live record. There's also a DVD, and it's The Gathering with Anneke van Giersbergen, beautiful in all senses of the word, singer, very great person as well. She collaborated with a lot of people, whether it's conglomérat, as we say in French, occasional gathering of musicians and singers for special projects such as Aerian, or another project we're gonna see, and also collaborations with Devin Townsend. Anneke van Giersbergen is not in the Gathering band anymore, so I'm not gonna speak about the modern era of the Gathering, which I'm not really fond of, despite I respect they still work with another singer, but for me it's nowhere near what they did before. This is interesting because it's a Noise Sévère live from, I'm not mistaken, 2007. Yeah, already. Oh my god. It's live in Chile. The ambience there in the live is explosive. The crowd is absolutely very supportive. Amazing crowd, probably one of the best of the world, the most dedicated. They sing along, sing between the songs. They bring a lot of energy to the band, and the performance there is first class. Here are the tracks. So they go from how to measure a planet, I think, album. Also go back to the beginning. As I see Leaves and Eleanor and In Motion are from the early albums that were more were kind of music. What I say, they started a bit. Shall I say progressive death? Not really, something like that, and so clean to a bit loud vocals, but not really growling. Anneke doesn't growl. Then what happened is they switched a bit to more progressive sides. Also, they were highly influenced, I have to say, by Radiohead at some point in the late 90s, early 20, and they include also some trip hop elements, a lot of keyboards and things. But they still have their unique style. Now there's another project. I'm gonna gather the two, which was called the Gentle Storm, and this is the Diary. This one is a special Digipack featuring multi-instrumentist, sorry for the pronunciation, Arjen Lucassen from Arion and Star One. Of course, Anneke and other musicians. There's a second record which is more folky. So it's a big theme around the Flying Dutchman. So there's kind of almost Barocco feeling at some point, and mostly on the second, more acoustic record. But the one that's really and yeah, for this one I paired what did I pair? Yeah, something sweet, which is this Breville. I love this distillery, also known as Brace of Glenlivet, a Speyside single malt distillery. This one is from Douglas Lang in the very affordable single-minded range. It's a 12 years old refill sherry. The ABV is quite low because also the price was quite low, 41.6, no 0.2, no 0.5. Okay, this one was from 2001 and bottled in 2013. So yeah, and this is a very pleasant one, and suits well with the subtle. It has some nice nutty sides, slightly winey, but very sweet, very malty. Lots of nuance, but staying really cool, even if it has some character. So it suits well for me with the Gentle Storm. For this one, I hesitated between the two, and probably the sweeter passages, which still has a lot of subtlety, I thought would match well with the darkest Bowmore 15 years old at 43%. I see many people do this Bowmore a lot because of all the caramel coloring, chill filtering, etc. But it's common to a lot of brands. And also some struggle with the character of the distillery, some floral notes or some rubbery notes, or not enough defined for many people character. But I had the occasion to try a lot of Bowmore, from the new make to 40 plus years old. So I don't remember now how many, but probably 60, over 50 or 60 versions. And I have this one of the 5 or 4 most represented distilleries in my collection for some reason. Also because some were affordable in the past and were more interesting maybe than some expressions now. This Bowmore Darkest, by the way, is quite an old one, and I forgot to... So I always forgot something. Did I tell you that? Yes, I know it to tell you that. Told you that already. Sorry about that. So this Darkest is from 2015. It's a bourbon matured Islay single malt, Scotch single malt, but it has 3 years finished in Oloroso sherry cask. So I'm gonna do a Bowmore rundown soon, so bear with me, and I'm gonna try, not in a one single video, but I'm gonna speak to you about my 13 different Bowmores, right? So this, but at some time of the album, it's so strong and so powerful and so electrical that one could also think of this small batch release, the Tempest. Here is batch 3 from 2013, bottled at 55.6, so quite hefty and quite a lot of character. This one is only bourbon driven. So yeah, beautiful band at that time, The Gathering, among my favorite Souvenir from the late era. Home as well, those two are fantastic albums. Of course, Mendelian back in the days, it's the one where you will find Leaves Eleanor. Yeah, lots of huge career, a bit too long. This is interesting also because it has the long EP and very long track called Blacklight District, which you will struggle to find somewhere else. So great. So basically 2 hours of great pleasure, in my opinion. Next on my list is, because I forgot the last time to speak to you about, I spoke already about Swallow the Sun, the Finnish band, but I forgot to speak to you about my favorite album of them, which is from 2015, which comes in this box. Let me open the box. So it's a 3 album record. 3 album record with yeah, nice internal different, what's almost the variations on the same picture of the model there. So again, it's death slash doom slash atmospheric and a bit progressive metal. Lots of different ambiances there. What else can I say? I think this is one of the best compromise between clean vocals and harsh vocals. They alternate from song to song, or they can figure in the same song. Beautiful harmonies, beautiful melodies, some really catchy songs in there. Lost and Catatonic is one of the most significant one. First track, With You, came the whole of World's Tears is really an absolute. It's a belter. Honestly, it was my album of the year. I think 2016 or something like that. Yeah, there are 3 parts. The first CD is called Gloom, second Beauty, and third Despair. So the hardest in terms of metal and harsh vocals is the third album, but the second is kind of compromise between the two, but it's the sweetest one, and the first is mixed. Songs like Silhouettes are really for me symbolic of what Swallow the Sun can do, with terrific riffs and beautiful transitions in there. This is really well made, very well produced, so top class album with a lot of character. So it's no surprise it came really high in my list. Sorry. What did I pair it with? It had to be Kleinlich, because it mixes the wild side and the sweet side, of course. And I chose 2 whiskies. For the light side, I chose the 14, which is a kind of it's a very good single malt, but it's still a bit sanitized compared to this. But this remains one of the best single malts around. Lots of toffee in there, not much wax, more wax there. And for this one, whoops, hope it's gonna stay. That I paired with Swallow the Sun. This is 21 years old, distilled in 1992. Comes with a leaflet like this, which is very practical. Or sometimes it's on the back label. There's no back label this time for some reason. It was bottled in 2014. Bourbon hogsheads are gathered there. It's a very small batch, I guess, because it's probably only 2, because there are only 792 bottles. I will do a rundown soon. I have another fantastic over there in brown, Kleinlich. I will do a very small rundown because I have, alas, a bottle which has been corked that I had to empty. And no, I didn't empty. I still kept it. I tried to save it and it didn't work, but there's some kind of reminiscence of still good things in there, but I'm very disappointed. But it's another story. So yeah, beautiful Kleinlich. Once again, for some Kleinliches, especially those indies, this is a Cadenhead one. If you open it with a few drops of water, it gets more palatable. So lots of contrast you can get with this bottle only, and the contrast, these are displayed in this triple album as well. So enough with this beautiful Kleinlich. Next album is there's no particular order. The order was in the selecting from which box of mine it came from. But if I had to do, there are 13 or 14 records there. If I had to do a ranking, the following one will be probably in the top 3 of this, top 4 of this list. This is, look at these guys posing. It's fun. What else do we have here? Yeah. It's a double album. It's a Digipack version, bonus disc with some live records of not older songs, but of the 3-4, let's say 2 previous ones, and also 2 videos of King and the Pentagram Burns. Of course, it's SATYRICON. SATYRICON, The Age of Nero. I love this album. I love the way the singer sings. Satyr, it's a nickname. I love everything about this album from 2008. This is classified in theory in black metal, but for me it's black death, black/death. It is really a very powerful one. And it is full of blast beats, very strong riffing attacks. There's some stunning influence of it's what if Slayer today was doing black death, or was doing death metal, or was doing something more extreme. I mean, this will be this album, because there are some riffs are coming for me, in my opinion, directly from the Slayer way of riffing and finding terrific intros and musical gimmicks, if I may say. I mean, the sign of the trident, I cannot play it, unfortunately, as usual, but the entry and the leitmotiv riff is absolutely crazy, and the blast beats behind it. Oof. Also the way they transition with the very strong rhythmic verses, and also this starts by the commando, which is a full wall of sound aggression, and then there's another super catchy song, is a Black Crow on the tombstone. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. And yeah, this is, and yeah, My Skin is Cold, Last Man Standing. Then it's the only one that's in Norway. They start in Norwegian language, and then they switch to English. Amazing band, lots to tell about this band. There's some controversy for the last 3-4 albums, because in some ways they're getting a bit more melodic, and in others they're switching to something that's almost black and rock and roll, like a bit like if Motorhead was trying to do some more catchy songs. I don't know, but I think it still works. Sometimes it can be a bit poorer, but this is a really strong album. And what else to pair it with my album, my Whisky of the Year 2020, and which was with no doubt this Port Charlotte 16 heavily peated Isle single malt Scotland. This is bottled at 55.8. There's a bunch of different kind of casks in there, but some of them are Sauternes. So very discreet but very nice influence. This was a very difficult one to find, 3,000 bottles only. It was an ex-Fashil festival bottling. The festival was cancelled, so this became a digital exclusive, available only under ballot. I entered in this ballot for some reason, while it was not super cheap. But it was the oldest age statement available at that time. Second release with that statement with another recipe. I jumped into it, and for some reason, when I entered the ballot, I knew I will win, and I won. Then after the shipping, etc., it's the last bottle I bought from the UK. Honestly, it's no question now I'm gonna buy anything because of all what happened, taxes, customs, shipping, Brexit and everything. I'm not talking politics there, it's just consequences of first Brexit and second French and EU agreements with UK, which is two different things, but the two are driving the same direction, us making us have more difficulties to get bottles. Basically, it's alas how it worked against us, unfortunately, but it's life. Let me clean a bit the thing. I don't want to do any damage in those bottles. Sorry for the noise. So there you have it, SATYRICON, the Age of Nero. Love that album. This is insanely good. Switching to something not completely different, but really way more atmospheric, and it's a conglomerate of people from different areas. So it's I cannot say it's USA. There are European people in there, and I love this Digipack. It's always their covers are always. I have others. Oops, oh, it's too remote now. Yeah, this one is the last one. It's not there. Ooh, what's that? Ooh, no, it's something I wanted to speak to you, but it will be in another video for those in the know. For the others, I keep the suspense. Those two are beautiful albums. The Empires of Ash here, which is from 2016, and we have there the Shadow Road. This is hard to describe. This is some kind of atmospheric black metal, but with some harsh vocals. But it has some passages with clean vocals, with guest female singer. There's some beautiful ambiences, sometimes switch to almost world music, or that can dance and stuff like that. But mainly because there are keyboards and flute, this something that reminds us a bit of the not Viking, but the half pagan, half Viking, half black, let's say. I know it's confusing. Wave from Europe, and this is quite in the less artificial sounding for me than Summoning. But for fans of Summoning, you will really love that one. This is very haunting, very charming. For me, even sometimes when it goes fast, I don't feel any aggression in there. It takes me to somewhere, and it's very poetic for me. So for this very subtle album, I thought with something about softness and subtlety, I thought the perfect match was the Frog Lore. The Frog Lore I haven't reviewed yet. I will. It's typically interesting for me. No Age Statement, and I can tell now how No Age Statement can I said, don't get me wrong, can be interesting, because it's the way, and it's what they did there with the 7 to 21 years old, if I'm not mistaken, content. Of course, not much of 21, but you see what I mean. There's different levels of graduations of the age to showcase maturity, showcase youth, showcase also teenage, something to make layers. No Age Statement crafted by people who want something a bit special, create layers and create complexity and depth. This one is bottled at 48. It's I think it's non-chill filtered, but I'm not even sure about that. Yes, but it's colored. Too bad. But still, yeah, it's a really nice, very pleasant single malt. I really love this one, and I had the chance, because value-wise it's a bit critical. That if you can find it under €100, it will be fair. So yeah, that's it for the Sojourner, which come from this album. So we might let that here. This box, I mean. Okay, next one. Next one is I didn't like a lot. I didn't manage to really enter into it. It's a pity, but I am rather promoting, if I may say, this one, MASTODON, the amazing American band with other records here. This is Blood Mountain, of course. No, this is Remission. I have several. Leviathan, I discovered, even where Remission is older, I discovered this amazing band with Brent Daler, the amazing drummer, and different singers, including him. There's a particularity of this band. It has complexity because it has some sludgy aspects. It has some death metal aspect. It has some progressive aspect, especially in this album with a beautiful cover. This is quite subtle, this is complex, this is very engaging, there's crazy drumming, some long tracks, some short tracks. This is from, if I'm not mistaken, 2009. This showcasing a lot of things and some kind of nobleness, some kind of class that only, well, I could take a Springbank, but I took a Springbank in the last video. So Ben Nevis 10, and of course, because there's some depth in there, the Ben Nevis 10 from 2017-18, like this bottle, which had a lot of 18 years old in there, as I understood. 46%, and really great bottling in my opinion. So yeah, I love the Mastodon for most of their career. So here is Mastodon. Next one is a band which is not enough known in my opinion. This is the Silence album from Cadaveria. Oops. This is classified worldly in horror metal. This band, who has 5-6 albums now, there's another one coming in, and this is a very special band. It comes from Italy. Yeah, Mastodon comes from US, I forgot to mention it. But this is Cadaveria, comes from Italy. It has, in the beginning, they had some black metal elements. There's still some black metal feel in there. There's some very, sometimes, not in this album really, but they had some neo-metal aspects in there that was not really crazy about. Some heavy metal, of course. That's a mix of styles, with some calm passages, but other more brutal. This is showcasing female singer Raffaella. Raffaella had cancer in the last years and survived from cancer. I'm sorry, last time I also spoke about that, but it's a struggle for many people in the world. And she survived that, and she has released a few things since, and I'm following her on her social media. It's a bit, now we're a bit relieved about her. She's feeling better, and she's gonna even tour, I think, and do other records. But I'm really glad she won when where Alia Stanridge Alas didn't, and yeah, so happy about them. Love their style. Love also, sometimes it's funny, in English you have this Italian accent that comes across still. What to pair with this, it was difficult. It's my favorite album of them, by the way. It's from 2014, Silence. What did I pair it with? Something I have on my glass that I haven't tasted for a long time, and only have on my personal notes. I haven't reviewed that. Why? I don't know why, but in fact the bottle is quite old. It's from 2007. This reference still exists. The packaging has changed. It's made by the Irish distillery, which was called Cooley at that time, and now for some stupid reason, I don't know why, they write on the bottle Kilbeggan and Cooley on the other side, or something like that, which is confusing because Kilbeggan is another product of Cooley. Okay, and now there's a lot of stock from Cooley that's now at Tilling. So except the new make which is aging at Tilling, almost all the stuff comes from the stock they bought. They got with the agreement to leave Cooley Distillery, but they took a lot of cask with them. So this is a 10 years old, matured in bourbon cask and finished in Madeira cask, which is one of my favorite cask type. This is 46% ABV. Yeah, all the spots you see, I apologize, it's because I have at the moment a bed bugs infestation, so it's crazy. I hope I will sort this out. Sorry to be personal. This is superbly fragrant, floral, honeyed, some tea leaves, green and black, some almonds. Slanjava, cheers. And this sweet buttery thing which comes across in the Madeira, some half heady flowers, beautiful one, I have to say. That's it for Cadaveria. I have other albums I could show you, but we're gonna stick to this. Here's the band. Next one, because time is running out. Yeah, a band I discovered 2 years ago, and I could show you the because it's a female singer, but I could have shown you the male original version of it, if I may say. Sorry guys, because this one for me is highly influenced WINDHAND by Saint Vitus, in my opinion, but not only. It comes from the sludge scene. It's if you have to cross sludge style, which is very rough, very fuzzy, almost hardcore punk, post-hardcore punk, but slower sometimes and it's faster other time. This is on the slower side, so it's doom metal, but it's sludge / doom metal for me. And there's a female singer with a low register, and it's very mixed within the music, so might not come across very clear, but I love the way they building melodies that are very insinuating in your mind, little by little, and there's a wall of sound of fuzz in front of all this, but they still manage to have some great songs in there. This one is the Griff's Infernal flower. Where are the others? Yes, they're there. I hope I won't select something else, because there's so many good things in there. Yeah, Eternal Return I can also recommend, and the Soma album. Sorry for the reflections. Yes, it's because the Cadaveria album is in there, right? Let me put this back. Lots of, like I said, lots of Mastodon in there. Probably one of the last that I found interesting, if I may say once more, Around the Sun. Getting more commercial for some people, but not really for me. But The Hunter was quite good as well, but I'm gonna be late if I cover too much of my box. What I'm gonna pair with this, it's difficult as well, but I found something that was still from the US and still something maybe difficult at the first sorry, I noticed I forgot to write something Okay. I thought a bourbon will be appropriate, and especially this double oak that reinforces the oak impact by doing 2 times, like they say, matured in custom crafted barrel and rebarreled in a heavily toasted, lightly charred barrel for finishing, featuring a wide range of rich and complex character. This one is the old packaging. I love this one. I prefer to the current one. It's just my opinion. And this is the 43.2 version. And the funny thing is the Woodford Reserve Distillery is located in Kentucky, but because of French influence, starting by the name Bourbon, for the Bourbon King in French, the family of kings, if I may say, les Bourbons, comes from this. So when you drink, and it was funny while there was a bashing against France from some president, when there was a bashing against France, people were still drinking bourbons, but they forgot what they owe to French about that. Sorry. And also many American that was saved by French soldiers back in the day, the independence, they gave to their cities French cities names, not only but many. So this distillery is located in Versailles, but not Versailles in France, near Paris, south of Paris, but Versailles in Kentucky. So it's fun. So beautiful, great whiskey that you have to tame a bit with water or with air and take your time with. It's the same thing here. Comes rough around the edges, but if you dig into it, you can appreciate it more. But yeah, I thought it was nice to pair it with this very good bourbon. So that's it for Windhand. Next one is a record really close to my... Oh, no, not already. Oh, did I mistake in the order? Oh, okay, there's no order, but I still have to follow, sorry. No, what did I do? Greg, you're doing silly things. Okay, so there's an album, and I cannot speak only of the album, so I have to speak of the EP, which is almost half an hour, if I'm not mistaken, which comes immediately after, not immediately after, 2013, 2016, be precise, Greg. This comes from Canada and sans transition, from Montreal, so connection with French is still there, with France is still there. Oh my god, reflections, I'm sorry. So it's GORGUTS, and it's Colored Sand. They have nice covers, but the... Oh my. Okay, so GORGUTS, Colored Sand album, and Pleiades Dust, and it speaks about the old library, so who was destroyed. So this is also a wink to me. 2016, both of those are in Season of Mist, French label, by the way. So GORGUTS, it's really maybe this way. I don't know. I'm sorry if it's comes whoa difficult. Okay, it's still a bit amateurish after 100 or more videos, so I apologize. I'm just gonna show it there, and that's it. GORGUTS. Okay, apologies for that. So yeah, basically what's the music sound like? It's for the non-prepared audience. It's a totally messy wall of sounds with full of dissonances. For the more experienced ears, and I struggled with them, to be honest, at the beginning, so it took me some time to enjoy them. Expect some very often counterpoints, dissonances, but it's, I will say, atmospheric experimental death metal, something like that. which is both brutal and super technical, with some of the best musicians of the world, and especially, and I wanted to speak about that, but where are the records now? Yes, there's an Infernal pair of musicians in there, which is Colin Marston and Kevin Hufnagel. They play bass and guitar with more than 6 strings. I think even Colin can play on a 20 strings electrical guitar. They are in several projects. One of the most palatable for me is Dysrhythmia, which is fully instrumental, and this is The Veil of Control, which is insane music. Very speed and very well crafted. Like this, there are slow passages, very atmospheric, ambient. We're with Gorguts, we are bordering also for me post-metal. The post-metal genre, I didn't speak about Neurosis or Cult of Luna, Isis, but this is also a very interesting subgenre of metal. But yeah, Gorguts, great albums. What I'm gonna pair with it? Something which has a lot of character, some maybe disturbing elements for some people, but which is in fine, when you dig into it, a very good album. So a very good whiskey, Glen Scotia. The Campbelltown Festival 2019, which was the rum cask finish, vintage 2003, bottled at 51.3. Lovely, beautiful bottle with a lot of funk, but still some sugarcane rum, nice rum also in there. Ding. So this was for our Canadian friends who suffer at the moment. Okay, I won't talk about that, but you know who you are, and you know you're right. And I'm all. Okay, no censorship for that, I think, because YouTube does a lot. Now, if you thought Gorguts was heavy, hard, wall of sound, very tough and very... now, what are you gonna say about ULCERATE? Again, ULCERATE. Oh my god, this glossy stuff. Let me try to find if I can find a cover. Oh, fantastic. This is the most messy thing I've done, probably. Okay, won't go too far for a moment. It's not a big deal. I'm gonna show you. It's not the last one, but it's a previous one. Might go better. ULCERATE. The one I prefer is production-wise and composition-wise, but there is still very good. This one is the Destroyers of All. So it's a band from New Zealand. The record is from 2010. This one is a bit younger, older, no, more recent. Sorry, and it showcases an amazing drummer, which is called Jamie St. Merat. It has also relationship with the previous one, because I like the fact they're super blast beat, super strong and heavy with the production, highlighting the drums clearly, double bass, blast beat, etc. But there's still some slower parts that are very atmospheric and very dark ambience, and there's something very close to Neurosis at times and to post-metal. I think it's what makes it more palatable and more interesting musically. Also the slow parts, which is very appealing. For something as strong and difficult as this, what did I choose? Oh yeah, of course. Berlau Abuna. So the kind of bottle you have to be getting used to it, because it can come across very harsh, especially in the beginning. Don't look at this batch 46 because it's one of the most balanced they ever made, and I think it's one of the very best of the dozens I've tried. This one is not recent, I have to say. I have this one 46. I know the 45 is popular as well, and I have the 47, but it's unopened. It's a kind of backup bottle. So this Abuna, ranging from it's NAS, but I know it's from 3 to 15 years old. Bottle 2013. It's supposed to be cask strength, but for me it's a batch strength, so it's mandatorily reduced, and it's sherry butts. When I mean reduced, it's a result that's reduced, because when you have a batch strength, and I know that because I also blended that, you measure the degree, and if you have a cask at 62.5, and let's say, to make it simple, all the others at 60 or 60.1, you can understand that the batch strength, the final strength, would be lower than the one which is the highest strength cask in there. So can you still speak about cask strength? In theory, yes, because all the content are cask strength. But if you want to be honest, you're gonna say batch strength. So it's the average percentage of alcohol of both. By the way, many cask strength, not most, many cask strength, especially those in core range, such as Glenfarclas 105, or the old Sullivan's Cove at 60, and I know that because I worked for them. Cold cask strength, they are not cask strength. Not sure though the 105 is cask strength. It's a long time I haven't taken a bottle, so but most of the time when you see a rounded number like 60 or 62 or 58, and I have examples in my collection, it means they had down the ABV to a permanent rate, because they don't want to change the label each time, each release, each batch, as it's a permanent release. It's not the same that with the Abuna, which is still a batch strength, but as they state the number of the batch, and there are 1 or 2 batches a year, and they know they will be different, they let the ABV, I think it's fair, of the batch strength, so it's also a way, like the Springbank 12 cask strength, to recognize one batch from the other. Okay, what did I pair with that? I said it with Abelauer. We're all coming to the end. It's good because I don't have much time. It's gonna be another long video, I apologize. Yeah, completely different thing, and one of my very favorite records, it's true. Oh, you can see her, she's very young there. Carrie Reslaton, the amazing singer of this, ahead of its time. The Third and the Mortal is the name of the band. They did change their style between the first EPs, the fabulous EP Sorrow, and this from 1994, Tears Laid on Earth. They're from Norway. Carrie Reslaton was one of their singers, the original one. She's now in a solo career, but she's also participating to a special band, another conglomerate of superstars, female singers from the metal world, and I saw them live. The Sirens, it's the name of the band. It gathers musicians from different bands, and Carrie Reslaton, the lead singer from Third and the Mortal, which is the band is disbanded now. The Sirens also has Anneke van Giersbergen, ex The Gathering, now in Vur, a metal band, and other projects, and also features Liv Christine Espenes from ex Theatre of Tragedy, another great band also. This can be classified as progressive, I think, atmospheric progressive doom slash death, not much death in there, but doom metal band, and it's absolutely wonderful, high musicianship and high level and very ambitious music, very ahead of its time in my opinion. Dark, sad atmospheres, but also some brilliance in the playing and the singing. It's soprano classical level, but it's not classical music. It's really beautiful. I don't know what else to say than try to discover them. This is the best for me they did. Tears Laid on Earth. Again, it's hard to show. Apologies. I tried to change the lighting, but even when I change it, I think it's because of the plastic in there. Okay, never mind. What did I pair with that? I had to choose a very good and very subtle but yet still with a lot of character whiskey. It was difficult for me. Of course I could have chose the 1991 vintage, but I thought there's some noble darkness and even the color of the label, which is the box, I mean, which is orange. I thought this Balbler 17 years old or 46% ABV will perfectly fit with this masterpiece. Yeah, so yeah, beautiful US and Spanish oak, if I'm not mistaken. Bottled 2017. Beautiful sherry in there. It's quite tight at the beginning, but it develops with a few drops of water, and with air it gets beautifully fruity, chocolatey. Lots of. I'm gonna review it at some point. Special wink to Teji Kajibi, who helped me get this. What else? Yeah, I wanted to speak about this, but I had to make choices. Beautiful band, female fronted as well. They're Keta death metal from the US with a special story. What's my last one? My last one is a crazy band from Greece with some symphonic black death metal, and it can be, of course, only Septic Flesh, which I have other records. It's difficult. It's not the original cover. It's remastered. Mystical Places of Dawn, from the beginning of their career, gothic doom death, getting more black with time, I think. Then we have Ophidian Wheel as well. It's not the original cover too, but it's absolutely crazy. Dark, black, gothic, with some opera voice as well. Some hate it, I love it. The Great Mass, sort of crazy. This band, they compose. One of the musicians is he's trained as a classical composer, and they do parts that are symphonic. They use a real symphonic orchestra. They have performed recently a DVD concert. They made a DVD with it. This is absolutely crazy. The creativity of those guys to create dark ambiences. They can mix very speed passages with some slower, with trumpets and a lot of brass elements in the orchestra that plays with them in several records, or they use some samples as well. This is a very impressive band, one of the most interesting band in the metal genre. So this is Codex Omega from 2017, and I could only pair it with something with a lot of character. I have some difficulties to access some bottles now, so I'm not gonna show you the one I paired with it exactly, also because you won't be able to find it, I'm sure. It's a Cornog, 11 years old, the oldest one, I think, from this French distillery Glenarmor, and it's the Sauternes cask. Instead, I'm gonna show you, where is it? Yeah, something you can find, which is a bit sweeter. It's the 46% Rock H. Let me show you how it's written. It's in Britain, of course. It's a Brittany distillery from Brittany. My favorite French distillery ever so far. This one is bourbon cask driven only, and it's peated. And if you put that blind, you could think maybe it's an Ardbeg or a strong Colilla, or not Colilla, say Ardbeg or Lagavulin, let's say. This is beautiful. This is only probably 3 to 5 or 6 years old, not way more. But I have others, and the first 3 years old they released, I still have it, and it's absolutely impressive as an example of great maturity for a young age. So I don't care they don't have an age statement, because they always are mature enough, in my opinion, of the ones I tried, of course. So Cornog, finishing with a Greek band and a French whiskey, a bit like me. I'm half Armenian, half Greek, let's say, and by heart. Percentages are less fun to say, of blood, and I'm born in France, so I don't have an Armenian whiskey. There's no Armenian whiskey of what I know, but there are Armenian brandy. I have one. It's another story, but okay, 1 hour, it's enough. I hope it was interesting for you to watch that, and as usual, I'm gonna put a link to the albums below. So what I suggest, I should have said that in the beginning, I'm sorry, is each time I show you an album, if you have time, you can watch this in, I will put timestamps. Pause the video, go browse a bit, maybe 10-15 minutes, and you will hear it later on if you like it. The albums I'm showing you, and then go back to see the next one. Could bring you to some nice journey or not, personal taste, but there you have it, a bonus video which is longer than the first one, which I didn't expect. Thank you, see you soon, peace.